Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we have part 2 of the multiplayer changes and future changes video that we did a couple days ago, and it's probably going to be a week by the time that I do upload this, but it's this one right here. We were going over this thread, we went over this post and the first couple of pages, and we're going to continue going over it. And quickly read through all this. These are all the changes that the multiplayer developers are currently working on, as stated by the title. And I'm going to link this down below if you want to read it all to yourself. But without further ado, let's quickly do this. So crush through mechanics and damage. And what they mean by this is overall damage is too high. In some instances, it deals way too much damage. So the crush through mechanic is pretty much where heavy weapons can still do damage whenever you do block. So a lot of people are saying that this mechanic should go away. I stated before in another video that I think that it needs to be tweaked. It is overpowered, but I don't think it should go away. We got cavalry rear up problems, pretty much when a horse goes on its back 2 feet and kind of like does its old horse thing, right? And cavalry can be reared from other angles than the front. Cavalry can be reared with very low damage. So pretty much what they're saying is there's a lot of problems. The horse is going up too much. And whenever the horse goes up, obviously your character stops completely. So you're pretty much an open target. Then we have captain mode balances, couch lance mechanics, and damage. That's the damage you do on horses. So couch lances deal too low damage when speed difference is low. So if you're not going that fast, it barely does any damage. In some instances, the tip misses. It deals blunt damage with the handle. That's a problem. Then we have archery and throwable mechanics, adjusting the current accuracy curves, trying out new mechanics. And then we have mounted archery and throwables, and this was already fixed. Mounted troops were not affected by the accuracy change properly, and now I guess they are. And there it is. All right, let's go back to our third page, and we're going to read this right over here because the developer answered all these questions over here. So let's do it. So this guy, he asks, let's see. So here are some issues that still need attention. I'm not implying that you aren't working on them. I'm just reminding you that they exist. Okay. First, the slow bug that happens when you die and respawn as an AI unit that slows your movement speed by 70 to 90%. Okay, interesting. Second, Britannia has been the worst faction for months and has seen little to no improvement. Okay. Third, we had 4 maps to play on, and now we have 3. No new maps have been added for several months. Okay. And are they talking about skirmisher? Because they did add 2 skirmisher maps. Maybe he's talking about what's it called? Siege, maybe? 4, we have shock troops have always been way too strong and need a significant nerf. Instead, they got buffed and now make up to 95 to 100% of the team's composition. I did hear that as a problem. That a lot of people playing the shock troops because they're the only viable class. 5, not enough classes are viable to play. There it is. Skirmisher units and light cavalry still are and have always been useless. Okay. 6, few quality of life changes have been made to the current 3 maps we do have, despite detailed feedback about specific out of bounds areas that need to be blocked off. I have seen changes to that in the patch notes, but I'm guessing that more were found or only minor ones were taken care of in those patches. So yeah, that could be a problem. 7, heavy archer units for some reason can no longer use their polearms in a melee fight, thus making glaive and Menevilian? I didn't say that right. I know I didn't say that right. It is what it is. A useless perk choice for Palatine guards and Cons guards. Okay. I'm really happy that Captain Mode Balance is on the list to the devs. I seriously appreciate all that you are doing to help the mode become better, and I hope you continue to have this passion and dedication. Maybe it's selfish for me to think that it should be the #1 spot on your list, but we really do need some significant attention and fixes for this mode. as we are struggling right now, and the general opinion about the state of the game mode is not looking good. So I'm guessing when he talked about the maps, I'm guessing he's talking about captain mode, since it looks like he plays captain mode a lot. Today was the first day I played a game of captain mode and did not enjoy myself. I genuinely played one game. We two-handed shock spam, and it was a dice roll, not fun at all in any way. I always imagine myself as the last person saying this, but it's the truth. The game mode in 1.5 is not fun to play. Well, there it is. Let's see what the developers have to say. There it is. As you mentioned, making changes in the game affects all game modes in single player because they all use the same core of the game where all simulations and combat happens. We cannot split the game mechanics for different game modes, but we will always make adjustments when it's necessary. That's weird, because they've done it before. Huh. Weird, because I'm pretty sure like a couple patches before they had I forgot what it was. I'm pretty sure in Siege, units got a specific this, and then in Skirmisher they got a different version of the unit. Or I might just be not remembering right, but I feel like they've done this in the past. Right now we're making adjustments to make the core of the combat more fun and enjoyable. We will keep making changes and adjustments until both the dev team and the players are happy with the result. There it is. They have been working with the community though, so you know what I mean? They do have a good track record of working with the community to make good changes. So hopefully they continue to go down that path, and eventually we'll have that, you know, that multiplayer experience everybody kind of wants, right? Or the majority wants, right? We knew the changes would shake the balance all around, and we will make it balanced again. But we have to start somewhere. We chose to start with the skirmisher mode because it's much more simple. It's much more simple, where most of the small-scale combat happens and issues are easier to observe. Captain mode is much more complicated because there's AI involved. We want to make sure that the foundation mechanics work how they are supposed to as we do move on to captain mode. It is not because we care less about captain mode. It is the most unique game mode we have. Okay, so they stated that obviously they wanted to start with skirmisher mode because it was a lot easier to control and observe the changes. They stated that the obviously when you implement a lot of changes, as they did to the multiplayer, it's very hard to make it completely balanced when a lot of new changes come in, right? Usually changes come in, some stuff is overpowered, some stuff is underpowered, a lot of stuff is changed, and then you have to work from there. So it does make sense. And they state that, you know, it is one of their most unique game modes, so they are going to get to it, but they just had to do a little test run with skirmisher mode. Makes sense. While we were working on the core mechanics, our AI team is already working on improvements. Most of the issues related to archers, surprisingly more than expected, and AI using throwing weapons are being fixed alongside improvements for AI to use their weapons in appropriate situations. We are planning to merge all of these changes and in the meantime collect data and feedback on the state of captain mode balance to make adjustments. Alright, so they're already at work. Stuff is getting fixed. Archer stuff, throwing stuff, AI stuff. It's all being worked on right now. We will still make some adjustments for captain mode very soon before the mentioned changes are completed to make sure the game experience is better for the time being. Okay, so I'm guessing some hot fixes before the eventual bigger patch. To answer some of your points. Alrighty, so question 1. Answer to question 1. The slow bug that happens when you die and respawn is an AI unit that slows your movement speed by 70 to 90%. This is surprisingly hard to recreate. It is being investigated, but if there is a video of it consistently being reproduced, it would be greatly appreciated. There it is. Second question. Britannia has always been the worst faction for months and is still seeing little to no improvement. Answer to that, it will be addressed. Okay. 3. We have 4 maps to play on. Now we have 3. No new maps have been added for several months. And the answer to that is new maps are New maps are almost complete alongside improvements on current ones. Okay, so I'm guessing in the next big patch we will see maybe 1 to 2 new maps and also improvements to current ones. There it is. 4. Shock troops have always been way too strong and need a significant nerf. Instead, they are buffed and now make up to 95 to 100% of a team's composition. And the answer, this was due to the combat changes will be better once archery and throwing get to where they're supposed to be. In the meantime, we will have to make some adjustments to handle the bad experience. Okay. Number 5, not enough classes are viable to play. Skirmisher units and light cavalry still are and have always been useless. Answer to that is skirmishers will be better as we make adjustments to the throwing mechanics. Okay. Question 6. Few quality of life changes have been made to the current 3 maps we do have, despite detailed feedback about a specific out-of-bounds area that needs to be blocked off. And the answer to that is I'll make sure the level designers are aware. There it is. And then question 7. Heavy archer units for some reason can no longer use their polearms in a melee fight, thus making the glaive and the M a useless perk choice for the Palatine guards and the Cons guards. And the devs state that this will be fixed with the AI improvements. So there you go. That was a lot of reading, but there it is. A lot of answers. Hopefully this did address some stuff for the multiplayer players out there. And got some more about clan wars and issues with crashes. They said they are aware of this problem is being taken care of. And here's a reply from the original person. Thank you for the thoughtful and thorough response on my concerns and comments. These are all things that I think all Captain Mode players will be happy to hear and will take comfort in the idea they are being worked on and implemented as mentioned. There are some very interesting and exciting additions that you mentioned that I personally am incredibly thrilled about. There it is. Okay. Okay, so as for replicating the slow bug, I will do my best to record an instance of this occurring. I will try to make a compilation of instances. Okay, very cool. Alrighty, so now this guy asked a question. I don't know if you guys know about this, but units that have Benevolence and sword use the Benevolence only as a counter cavalry and the sword and melee. Basically, that means that taking sword on M renders them almost useless, and Palatine guards are much more or less effective. I tried the same on other 2-handed units, but it had no effect on them. Also, is there going to be some kind of rework to Cavalry AI at some point? This seems also predominantly use swords and axes against infantry and rarely use the spears and lances. Okay, so AI is not using the weapons they're supposed to. The devs state they are aware of this. They do know the issues with Cavalry AI, and the improvements will be made. There it is. Okay, so this guy's answering pretty much, he's the moderator for the sub forum, and he's talking about the slow bug. So we've attempted to replicate or find a fix for the slow bug many times without much success, but we do know that it almost always, but not exclusively, occurs after respawning as a new bot, and will happen more often with shield classes. One bug state has the player move very slowly, but then caps lock for the alternative slow walk will cause the player to move close to a normal speed. Very strange, and hopefully it will be figured out. Okay, so a little bit more explanation on that. And let's see what else we got. Alrighty, so can you elaborate on your plans for cosmetics and customization with respect to what exactly? Just multiplayer weapons / armor skins? So the devs say outfits initially, weapons are planned for later. So this is in terms of the cosmetics that are being added to the game, especially pretty much to multiplayer. And they're going to be customizable outfits and eventually weapons. It's a controversial topic. I think it's okay in my book if they do it right. If they don't make it too greedy and too kind of just like ruins the gameplay. If it's just see, it's a hard thing. It's like a minefield to tiptoe when it comes for developers and cosmetics, because some games do it really well, some games don't. So we'll see how they do it. That's kind of my opinion of it, right? But I'm okay to the idea of it. What else? We got a moderator. Okay. And that looks like it's about it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that looks like it's about it. But alright, boys. Hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about upcoming multiplayer changes. I'm going to link this down below. Ask me any questions, any concerns, and like always, stay safe.